What is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is doing good, man. Today, we're diving back into that lab, discussing rookies. We're talking Jaylen Wright, running back. Now for these Miami Dolphins, Tennessee product. And I mean, okay, Coach McDaniel definitely drafts his clubs and puts together his clubs like I do in Madden, trying to get that track team full of speed. And he added himself another one that's got lightning jets. He's an interesting one. Was I overly, excited about him? Maybe not, but I got a definitely good pros, cons, and a great score to discuss on this man. How will he fare in the NFL? Follow me. Let's talk a little Jaylen Wright, now Miami Dolphins running back. I've been harping on this the entire draft process that this, running back class wasn't necessarily abundant with top-end talent and potential. And you can find some gems that are going to at least, make some waves, have a good 5-7 year NFL career. Jaylen Wright's an interesting one. I think he does have a lot of good skills, a lot of good talents, but will he ever, pan out to be what a lot of people believe that he could potentially be in the NFL? I think he's good. Is he great? We shall see. But I think that, based on what the Miami Dolphins, the best landing spot he probably could have ever had was with these Miami Dolphins. And we talk round 4, pick 20 for Jaylen Wright. Okay, he fell into the 4th round. Yes, we know the statistics that go, anybody on day 3, how often do they hit for longevity in the NFL? Doesn't, bode well, statistically speaking, when it comes to a long-term NFL career. But he does have a lot of potential, and this Miami Dolphins running back room, and wide receiver rooms are predicated upon speed because they want to go fast, and how McDaniel does call his plays in terms of the depth. We got an aging Raheem Mostert. We'll see what he does. I mean, finding his way into the medical room quite a bit. Devin off the A-chain, HN. Okay, he also, flashed on the scene. I was a huge H-Chan supporter. You guys know this. You go back to his scouting report. You know exactly what I was talking about with H-Chan. But again, you're talking about body, punishment. How are they going to fare? Are they going to continue to find themselves in the medical room? Raheem Mostert is a frequent observer of sitting in that medical room. And then we saw H-N definitely have his chair put right next to a Raheem Mostert in that injury room. So, I mean, it is a problem. Salvon Ahmed, I've always been a fan of as well. Lesser known when he's coming out. I mean, undrafted rookie free agent with the 49ers. Now kind of found a home, but he also deals with injuries as well. It's just the durability concerns that you do have. Will Jaylen Wright be able to, at least buck that trend and say, I'm the healthiest of the group and I can maintain? But you know what it is? It's like McDaniel's just trying to say, I don't want to remove any of my game plan with who is in the game. I could just mix and match, whether it be Mostert, H-N, and then a Jaylen Wright. We will always run fast. And I think that's kind of the MO that these Dolphins have, gone with under this regime of Coach McDaniel. You still got Jeff Wilson and Chris Brooks, a little bit more muscle in that running back room. But you do like the fact of landing spot. If you're talking about, football terms in general, that this is a very good landing spot for a Jaylen Wright with these Miami Dolphins, because they are predicated, like I said, on that speed game, and he's got a boatload of it. But for his measurables, Jaylen Wright stands 5'10", 210. He is only 21 years of age, 34 contests at Tennessee, 368 attempts, 2297 yards. Very good stat line for this man. 6.2 on the average. Another big one you're looking for. Not many running backs in this draft class crack that 6 yards per carry, so that's a big ups for him as well. 18 TDs. He added 30 receptions, almost 200 receiving yards, 5.7 on the average, and no receiving touchdowns. So statistically speaking, in 34 games, you can't hate what he was able to put up. Only 368 rushing attempts for over 2,000 yards. That is good news, man. It shows that he is very productive. He can get down the field and make big plays, which we did see a lot of in Tennessee, no question. But for some pros, he has some good ones. And again, I think I've already foreshadowed it enough to suggest that it is predominantly based on electric speed, baby. Instinctive runner, gear up, gear down, and he will make plays, and he will take off and run away from a lot of defenders. There is no question about that. Believe he ran a 4.38 at the combine. Showcase that at 210. You gotta love that a lot, man. Good frame, man. 5'10", 210 is nothing to sneeze at. While I will touch that in the cons as well, it does look a little bit lean on on film, but I do like the frame also, and I mean, it just aids in the fact of how fast this man is. You're drafting him to be your speed back. You're drafting him to make big-time explosive plays, breakaway down the field. This is exactly what you're getting from a Jaylen Wright. There is no question. Has that long speed, like I'm saying, making many big runs down the field. He will always run away from those defenders. Once he gets full going, that second gear will kick in, and he will run past a lot of people. Home run ability, definitely there. Great lean and go ability. So it's one of those situations where you're saying, you know, is your running back a big-time juke and shake machine? Can he shake anybody out of their pants? You got to believe that a Wright is more of, you know, because he's going so fast, it's kind of that lean to the side and then runs around his defenders, and it's not a bad thing. It's like a Darrington Evans. If you watched his college film back in the day, he was the epitome of the lean, bend, and go around your guys because the speed was that good in college football. Jaylen Wright definitely does have a lot of that in his game as well. Good patience. I mean, solid stutter step. Vision on the side, you want to say could have some improvements, but the patience I don't dislike. He understands how to utilize that stutter step. He will bounce it to the outside if the holes are closed up, and he will try to make a play. He does, surprisingly enough, get skinny in between the tackles. Didn't see near enough of it to feel, you know, warm and fuzzy that he's going to be the in-between guy, in-between the tackle guy, you know, in the NFL on a consistent level, but I do love the fact that he can get skinny in between those tackles, and then he does try to make big plays down the field. Very good body balance, you want to say. He does get hit. He's bouncing off at times, and then he's able to make plays and keep running down the field. It's not necessarily on the elite trend, but it is good. And I think that's a very important aspect where these guys are going to try to, you know, corral the line and give you a big pop so that you can't get your speed down the field. But if he does bounce off, he will go around your defensive backs and your linebackers, and he will make plays down the field. He's got a nice spin move. Change of direction is good. Again, it's in the different aspect where I'm not saying he's a juke and shaker rather than a lean cut where he's just going to lean to the side and then he's going around people because they do underestimate the speed when he does get closer to them. Change of direction, very good in this man, and he will make big plays, like I said, with that home run ability down the field. He is actually tough to tackle and very slippery, man. He will bounce off you. He will, you know, slip those the shoestring tackles, the ankle tackle grabs. He will slip those, and he will continue to go down the field, which is very good. He can get hit behind the line. We have seen this quite a bit, but I'm telling y'all, he is tough to tackle when he is going, especially at 210. It does, poised to say that the tackling is going to be something that everyone's going to say, wow, he has that in his game. I don't think I saw that at Tennessee, but there is quite a bit you do notice when he is tough to tackle and tough to bring down. Hands are good, and he could be a value in the pass game, even though he wasn't necessarily utilized as such with Tennessee as much as you wanted to see. This past season definitely saw a little bit of an uptick in that sense, but I think he could be a very good, capable, receiving back in this offense that Tua could absolutely utilize, and he is very good. Breakout season was this past year in 2023, 137 attempts, 1,000 yards, and 4 TDs. So using him as that full-on speed, change of pace back to make big plays is kind of the MO for a Jaylen Wright. But for some cons, okay, he's had some ball control issues. I believe it was 4 fumbles last year, if I'm not mistaken, on those 137 attempts. Not good, and you want to see that cleaned up, especially for a guy who doesn't have, all the traits that you want to say could be potentially elite. You got to clean up the mistakes that you do, and I mean, okay, it's the ball control issues definitely got to be cleaned up. No fumbling in the pros because that will get you on the bench faster than you can sneeze at, man. Vision is a slight concern. It's not a grave concern. He will bounce, he will see the hole close up, and he will bounce. He won't follow his blockers at times, and that does concern me a little bit because he is so fast. He is trying to hit that hole very hard and then go down the field. So he's got to understand, utilize that patience just a little bit more. It just requires improvement. Not a grave concern, vision, slight concern at this point. I want to see it, uplifted just a little bit. But a lot of people said the same thing about Devin off the HN. And I think that it's, he proved to a lot of people that he could be an inside runner, no question. So maybe they will school him up in this sense in the NFL for Jaylen Wright. So it's a slight concern, but it's definitely requirements do need improvement, and I think he'll get that here in the NFL here with the Miami Dolphins. Whole location is timid at times, so he is but again, I think that bodes into the same conversation that I'm saying when we're talking about, vision. He wants to hit that hole so fast and make a big play. Let it come to you sometimes. Have a little bit of patience. distance, let your block set up, and then find your holes. It's a little timid for me. Kind of goes in that same vision as a slight concern to be a problem right now. Not a grave concern, just a slight concern. Stop, start, burst is inconsistent. You want to see it all the time with someone that has got electric capabilities in the speed game. You just want to see that burst continue, man. Stop, start, burst. Whether you're making somebody miss, just make it consistent. Don't do that stutter stepping tackle behind the line. Drives me absolutely crazy. Not as elusive as expected. I definitely wanted more. I thought he was going to be this guy that's, juking, shaking everybody. He's not. It's not part of his game. Maybe he can, gain some in the NFL a little bit, but it's not going to be something that I'm going to be like, wow, did he just do a Barry Sanders or a LaShawn Shady McCoy? I just don't see it, man. I definitely wanted more out of his game. Appears smaller on tape than and on the field than he does in his measurables. 5'10", 210. He looks a lot leaner, maybe not smaller, but just leaner. Maybe it's just the way his body holds the weight, but maybe he could stand to gain another 5 pounds. Won't necessarily inhibit his speed, 5 to 10 pounds, and be a little bit more, but speed is part of his game, so I highly doubt we're going to see him put on a lot of muscle mass to be the 10 pounds. Maybe the 5, 6, 7 pound range is kind of where you're going, man. He could be susceptible to big hits because he is that upright runner, and this is a big problem when you're talking about injuries and your running backs finding their way into the medical room. Miami doesn't need any more running backs in the medical room. They already have a full building with where they keep their running backs when they are hampered with injury, so there could be some susceptibility when it comes to taking big hits. Just learn to be a little bit more compact, and I think everything will be good. Change of pace back / tandem back. Is this going to be home in the NFL? More of a statement than a full-blown con, but I think that it's interesting. Is he ever going to be your guy you can trust and rely? A lot of people thought Achane was going to be the guy they could not rely on either, and he would just be the change of pace back. And the injuries, maybe the volume's just too much. It could be a very similar situation here with a Jaylen Wright, which will cloud the fantasy community on who we can trust week to week with Mostert, Achane, and then now Wright. So there could be a triple-headed tandem here in Miami, kind of alleviating high-end volume to keep these running backs healthy and moving forward throughout the season, because Tua definitely requires a run game to set up that play action pass and get the football down to his wide receivers like a Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But for grading purposes, Jaylen Wright is a good running back. I am okay with him. I'm just not over the moon like a lot of people are. 74.1% is my grade score. Does lose a little bit of traction because he doesn't have, the full-rounded, full-meal deal that I'm looking for out of my running backs. He's got a lot of speed capabilities. He is that home run guy you're looking for, so there will be a lot of big plays to be had. Will it be consistent? Will he find his way into the medical room like I'm saying? What's his usage going to be in the pass game? Biggest thing I want to see. If he's, a PPR running back for fantasy, that's a great thing. Get the ball in his hands, get him down the field with that speed. That's absolutely how I would utilize him in Miami. But 74.1, definitely in that Bucky Irving type of running back situation for me. Definitely got skills. Will it prolong for a long term in the NFL? We definitely shall see. But there you have it. That is running back Jaylen Wright now with the Miami Dolphins. Good skills, lots of speed. And we know McDaniels definitely, he understands how to utilize speed in this offense. So I do believe we will see a lot of big plays from Jaylen Wright now that he's with these Miami Dolphins. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. What do y'all think of Wright? You in, you out? You like him? You dislike him? You think he's a bust? You think he's overrated? Throw it in the comments, man. We can definitely talk it out. Love talking to y'all, man. But nevertheless, we'll see you next time. I am out.